If you're anything like me, you've probably been thinking about the Dutton family more than you'd like to admit. Now that we've closed yet another chapter in the family's long history with the 1923 finale, it's time to welcome a new era with the upcoming prequel series, 1944. Spoiler alert, the cast of this new show might be the best we've had so far, as it brings together two Hollywood legends. But more on that later in the video. So, without further ado, let's dive into everything we know about the new Yellowstone prequel series, 1944. This new prequel was announced almost a year ago, but up until very recently, that's about all we had. However, with the 1923 finale, cast and creators have started to share some insights on what to expect from this era of the Duttons. Despite the usual secrecy of Taylor Sheridan and the Paramount executives, we still have some crucial details to talk about. To understand where the Duttons are headed, we first need to remember where they came from. As many of you know, everything started with 1883, which introduced us to the earliest Duttons. We watched them cross the country, losing people and parts of themselves along the way, until they finally settled in Montana. That show proved to all of us that this land cost the Duttons everything, a cost that has echoed through every generation since. Then came 1923, where we watched Jacob and Cara Dutton trying to hold on to the land their family had died for. This time, the threats were different. Economic collapse, industrialization, drought, and corrupt politicians trying to push them out. But at its heart, the story was the same. A family willing to do anything to protect what's theirs. After years of tragedy and suffering, the 1923 finale left us wrecked and full of questions. Alex gave birth to a baby boy and then, sadly, died. That baby, John, is presented as the potential future of the family. However, it's also revealed that Elizabeth was pregnant, and there's a strong chance her baby could be the John Dutton we've all been waiting for. The Dutton family tree will likely continue to confuse us forever, but for once, it seems like 1944 might finally give us some answers. Brandon Sklenar, who plays Spencer, even hinted that Alex's baby could be John Dutton, the father of Kevin Costner's character. He said it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's what he assumes. And honestly, if he believes it, who are we to argue? That said, nothing is certain until we see it for ourselves. This also means that 1944 could be the story of that child, now grown up, facing a new kind of war, not just over land, but across the world, with his father Spencer guiding him through life. What makes 1944 different from the other prequels is the historical moment in which it's set. As you all know, World War II changed everything. It wasn't just a fight overseas, it transformed American life. In places like Montana, men went to war, women stepped into new roles, and small towns started to shrink. The land became both a lifeline and a prison. People began leaving ranches for cities, many never returning. If you're familiar with the Yellowstone franchise, you know this sounds exactly like the kind of storm Taylor Sheridan loves to explore. That said, many of you are wondering whether 1944 will actually happen, especially since Sheridan remains quiet about the series. Even though the show was officially announced, a lot of us have lost some trust in him, as he keeps shifting focus and changing direction. It also doesn't help that Sheridan is juggling so many other projects. He's got Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone, he's managing Mayor of Kingstown, there's Landman, and a new crime procedural starring Luke Grimes, aka Case Dutton. He's also developing The Madison, another Yellowstone sequel with Michelle Pfeiffer, and let's not forget the Beth and Rip spin-off. Needless to say, that's a lot for one person. With Paramount going through changes, including talks of being bought out by Skydance and budget cuts, it's hard not to worry. Some shows, like the long-promised 6666, still haven't moved forward. Part of me fears that 1944 might just fade into development limbo. I hope I'm wrong. Still, if the show does happen, I know who I want to see in it. At the top of the list is John Dutton II, baby John, now a young man. Whether he's the son of Alex or Elizabeth doesn't matter. I just want to meet this guy at last. Let me know if you're also excited to finally meet John Dutton's father. Brandon has said he'd be open to returning as Spencer. Personally, I'd love that. Seeing an older Spencer raising his son and reflecting on all he's lost would bring emotional depth to this new chapter. That said, Brandon is too young to play an older Spencer. He couldn't even portray the 1969 version of Spencer in 1923, so our eyes turn to other potential candidates. At the top of the list is Kurt Russell. Not only does he look the part of a Dutton, but his legacy as an actor fits perfectly into the Yellowstone universe. There's also the question of whether Harrison Ford or Helen Mirren could return. Jacob and Kara would be extremely old by 1944, likely near 100. However, Harrison recently said he'd be willing to star in 1944, since his character is still alive. Honestly, seeing all three generations, Jacob, Spencer and John, together in one show would be epic. Let me know if you'd like to see that too. As for the plot, a bunch of theories are floating around based on behind-the-scenes rumours. One I love is that 1944 might introduce a rift in the Dutton family. What if John Dutton II comes home from the war to find someone else, maybe his cousin, trying to take control of the ranch? In other words, we might see a conflict between Alex's son and Elizabeth's son. That would be an epic family showdown. Would you want to see an inner family battle among the Duttons? Let me know what you think. We know that 2025 will be dominated by the Beth and Rip spin-off and the Madison, and that 2026 will kick off with Casey's spin-off series. This means that 1944 is likely to be pushed to spring 2026. I know that feels like a long wait, but I think it will be worth it. For more weekly updates on the Yellowstone franchise, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.